can create a document DB like in AWS account, so which is span across like three availability zone. So availability zone is just like a data center. It could be one data center representation, or it could be multiple data center representation, which is like completely not disclosed by the AWS. So in DocumentDB cluster, so we can have like one primary instance, so which will be like only uh, you are supposed to do all the writes through the primary instance. So this is the primary instance, and these are the replica instances. So all these replica instances we can create in different availability zones, and for we will have like cluster endpoint through which we can do the writes to the cluster, and we can have a reader. We will have a reader endpoint also, which like these replicas can be used for like analytics or operational workload, or if you want to scale your read throughput, so you can use these replica instances, and your data will be written across the cluster volume, so it's like replicated across three availability zones, and all the writes to these uh, cluster volumes are synchronous. So now about this, like all the writes are done through primary instance, all instances primary, and replicas support read. So you can do the reads and write both through this primary instance. But for the replicas, only gonna support the reads. You can't do a write through these replica instances. If you will try to do, you're gonna get a like exception or error, like writes are not supported. So reads from DocumentDB cluster primary instance are strongly consistent. So if you need a like strong consistency for your application, and like you want to read the data immediately after writing, so your application should point to this primary instance. All the reads from read replica are eventually consistent with less than 100 millisecond replica lags. So if like the use cases in your application are where like okay you can tolerate 100 millisecond replication lags, so like eventually consistent use cases like which are like okay if you are reading a data which is like older than 1 minute, so for those kind of use cases or your application can point to these replica instances. Thank you so much for viewing this tutorial.